17. Youngest black actors who are gay. You've seen them in hit shows, blockbuster films, and viral red carpet moments, but what you didn't know about these 17 young black actors will leave you speechless. In an industry that thrives on image, these stars had the courage to defy expectations and come out as gay, queer, or proudly non-binary before it was safe. Their truth didn't end their careers. It defined them. Ready to meet the bold new faces reshaping Hollywood from the inside out? Hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe now to Legends of Black Excellence because the revolution is being televised. Miles Brown. Miles Brown, born on December 28, 2004 in Oxnard, California, captured hearts nationwide through his role as Jack Johnson on ABC's award-winning series Black-ish. From a young age, his charisma, humor, and natural screen presence positioned him as one of the most promising young black talents in Hollywood. But in 2022, at just 18 years old, Miles made headlines for something even more courageous. He came out publicly as gay. This bold step made Miles one of the youngest openly gay black actors in mainstream entertainment. It wasn't just a personal revelation. It was a cultural milestone. In an industry that often pressures young stars to maintain a polished image, Miles chose transparency over silence. His announcement wasn't wrapped in scandal or spectacle. It was a moment of dignity and quiet power. Despite concerns about how coming out might affect his blossoming career, Miles continued to work steadily and remained a fan favorite. He used his voice to advocate for inclusion, particularly for young LGBTQ+ people of color navigating their own identities. His journey resonated widely, earning him recognition not just as an actor, but as a role model who refuses to compromise his truth. As of 2025, Miles has kept his romantic life private, choosing instead to focus on his craft and growing portfolio. Whether it's on-screen or through his advocacy, Miles Brown represents a generation of young black actors who are rewriting the rules. He proves that courage doesn't have an age, and that being openly gay at a young age can be a beacon for those still searching for the words to define themselves. Jabari Banks stepped into fame with enormous shoes to fill, portraying the modern version of Will Smith in the rebooted Bel-Air. Born in 1998 and raised in West Philadelphia just like his character Jabari, brought authenticity and depth to a role that once defined a generation. But what truly sets him apart isn't just his acting. It's his decision to be open about his sexuality before fame ever arrived. Long before red carpets and streaming deals, Jabari had already made peace with who he was. Coming out as gay prior to his professional debut was a bold move in a business that often rewards secrecy over self-expression. He wasn't responding to rumors or headlines. He was taking control of his own narrative from day one. His candor has only enhanced his appeal. Fans relate not just to the character he plays, but to the integrity he lives by. Jabari's portrayal of a reimagined cultural icon gained even more weight when audiences learned he was part of a community often underrepresented in leading roles. Jabari hasn't made his love life the centerpiece of his public identity. He prefers to let his work speak first, yet his visibility has given countless young black LGBTQ+ people someone to look up to. In interviews and fan interactions, he promotes self-acceptance without preaching, showing that authenticity is a quiet but powerful force. In just a few years, Jabari Banks has gone from unknown actor to symbol of progress in Hollywood. His talent brought him to the screen, but his courage helped him stay there. By being open about who he is from the start, he's setting a precedent for young actors. Success isn't about hiding, it's about standing tall in your truth. Isaiah Stokes. Isaiah Stokes is a rising force in television known for his grounded performances and emotional range. Though not yet a household name, his breakout role in The Outsiders drew attention to his layered talent, and soon after, to his brave decision to come out as gay in his early 20s. That decision wasn't a publicity stunt or career move. It was a personal liberation that reshaped how he moved through the entertainment world. Raised in the Midwest, Isaiah grew up without many on-screen figures who reflected his experience, black, gay, and determined. When he entered the industry, he did so with a quiet resolve to be different. He didn't hide behind carefully managed statements or ambiguous interviews. Instead, he acknowledged his identity with grace, choosing truth over strategy. His announcement didn't derail his progress. In fact, it made him more relatable. Casting agents and fans alike responded to the honesty he carried both on and off screen. Although Isaiah has kept details of his relationships private, he's never shied away from discussing the challenges of being a young gay black man in a business still learning how to embrace intersectionality. His performances reflect that inner depth. Whether playing conflicted sons, passionate lovers, or defiant rebels, Isaiah brings a raw, emotional honesty that feels lived in. That's no accident. It's the result of living openly without apology. Today, Isaiah continues to expand his resume, eyeing both film and indie projects that speak to his values. He's not in the game for fame alone. He's here to create characters that matter, stories that resonate, and a space where others like him feel seen. By refusing to dilute who he is, Isaiah Stokes is creating something lasting. A career built not just on talent, but on truth. Justice Smith. Justice Smith, born August 9, 1995, has become one of the most dynamic young black actors in Hollywood, with roles in major franchises like Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom and Detective Pikachu. But beyond his box office success, Justice has emerged as a powerful voice for LGBTQ+ visibility after publicly coming out as gay in 2020. His decision to come out wasn't timed for publicity. It came from a deep-rooted sense of responsibility. In a heartfelt social media post, he shared his identity and also revealed his relationship with fellow actor Nicholas Ash. Their openness as a couple marked a powerful moment of representation, especially for black gay men in mainstream media. What sets Justice apart is his willingness to be both vulnerable and vocal. He has spoken candidly about the lack of representation in the industry and the pressure to stay silent. Rather than conform, he chose to confront those norms head-on, using his growing platform to elevate stories that reflect his reality. Professionally, coming out has only expanded his reach. He continues to land compelling roles while advocating for more inclusive casting. His fans admire not only his talent, but the integrity with which he lives. Justice doesn't use his personal life as a brand, but he also doesn't hide. That balance has made him a figure of admiration for many young queer fans who see in him the possibility of success without sacrifice. Now entering his 30s, Justice Smith is no longer just a rising star, he's a role model. He proves that authenticity isn't a liability, it's a gift. And in an industry still learning how to listen, he speaks with clarity, compassion, and conviction. Layton Williams. Layton Williams, born in Manchester, England on September 26, 1994, is a British actor and dancer who exudes confidence, charisma, and authenticity in every role he takes on. Best known for his performance in the hit TV series Bad Education, Layton made headlines when he came out as gay in 2015, years before LGBTQ+ representation became a regular part of casting conversations. From the start of his career, Layton refused to fit into a box. With an unmistakable flair and sharp comedic timing, he quickly made his mark in British television. But it's his unfiltered honesty and unapologetic queerness that have made him truly unforgettable. Layton never waited for permission to be himself. He didn't hedge his identity to appeal to mainstream audiences or casting agents. Instead, he embraced his sexuality with pride, stating that his queerness was not a limitation, but a superpower. He brought that energy to both his performances and public appearances, often using fashion and social media as tools for visibility and empowerment. Though he keeps his romantic life largely private, Layton has spoken publicly about the challenges of being openly gay in an industry where queerness can still be met with bias or resistance. Yet those obstacles haven't slowed his momentum. From West End musicals to TV roles, he's continued to land diverse, compelling parts without ever compromising who he is. Leighton's journey is one of fearless self-expression. For many young black gay fans, especially in the UK, he stands as a reminder that success doesn't require erasure. It demands authenticity. As of 2025, Leighton Williams remains one of the brightest LGBTQ+ figures in British entertainment, celebrated not only for his talent, but for the courage and joy he brings to being exactly who he is. Keanan Lonsdale. Keanan Lonsdale, born December 19, 1991 in Sydney, Australia, rose to global recognition playing Wally West, better known as Kid Flash in The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. While many fans admired his on-screen speed and charm, it was his real-life bravery that made him a standout figure in young Hollywood. In 2017, at age 25, Keanan publicly came out in a heartfelt message affirming his identity as a queer black man. Rather than limiting him, this decision marked a turning point, allowing him to embrace not just who he was privately, but how he showed up creatively. He transitioned seamlessly from superhero roles to LGBTQ+ trailblazer, blending acting, music, and activism. Keanan's self-expression goes beyond interviews or hashtags. His bold fashion choices, gender-fluid style, and music career all reflect his belief in freedom and personal truth. He doesn't play safe. He plays honest, and that has made him a magnet for a generation looking for role models who live unfiltered. He hasn't publicized any long-term romantic partners, preferring to use his platform to uplift others rather than share personal gossip. Yet his visibility as a young black queer man in mainstream franchises has been transformative for fans who once saw no one like themselves in leading roles. Now, an established force in both Hollywood and the music world, Keanan Lonsdale remains a beacon of artistic courage. His journey from hiding to thriving proves that being yourself isn't risky, it's revolutionary. Jeremy Pope. Jeremy Pope, born July 9, 1992 in Orlando, Florida, is a multi-hyphenate talent whose rise in Hollywood has been defined by depth, purpose, and authenticity. He first turned heads on Broadway, earning dual Tony Award nominations in the same season, a rare feat, and soon transitioned into television and film with magnetic presence. Before mainstream fame arrived, Jeremy had already made a pivotal choice to live openly as a gay man. This wasn't an announcement wrapped in fanfare, it was a steady truth that shaped how he selected roles, built relationships, and interacted with fans. For Jeremy, queerness was never a side note, it was part of the foundation. His breakout TV role in Hollywood allowed him to portray the kind of complex, ambitious queer character often erased from period narratives. Rather than play into stereotypes, Jeremy challenged them, bringing elegance and grit to each performance. Later, his emotional role in The Inspection further cemented his status as an actor who brings truth to every frame. Jeremy has long been an advocate for inclusivity, using interviews and public appearances to discuss racial injustice, industry bias, and the need for more queer black stories. While his love life stays under the radar, his commitment to visibility remains unwavering. He offers support to LGBTQ+ youth through both action and example, emphasizing that authenticity is never negotiable. With every stage he steps on and every screen he graces, Jeremy Pope proves that identity doesn't limit artistry, it deepens it. He stands not only as a gifted actor and singer, but as a living example of what happens when talent meets conviction. Alex Newell. Alex Newell, born August 20th, 1992 in Lynn, Massachusetts, has never fit into boxes, and they've never tried to. Best known for their powerhouse performance as Unique Adams in Glee, Alex made history as one of the first openly gay and gender non-conforming black performers to gain national attention on primetime television. Alex identifies as both non-binary and gay and uses they, them pronouns. Their journey into the spotlight began after finishing as a finalist on The Glee Project, but it was their unshakable presence on Glee that catapulted them into pop culture relevance. What made their portrayal revolutionary wasn't just the voice, it was the vulnerability and truth they brought to a trans teen navigating life in a high school that reflected so many viewers' real lives. Throughout their career, Alex has embraced their queerness as a strength, not a stumbling block. Their booming vocals have lit up Broadway, most notably in Once on This Island and Shucked, earning them critical acclaim and standing ovations. Rather than shy away from their identity, they have made it central to their artistry, proving that Black queer voices belong center stage. Alex keeps their private relationships off the radar, but their impact in public life is undeniable. Their presence breaks barriers across gender, race, and sexuality, inspiring fans who rarely see themselves in powerful performers. Now a Broadway star, recording artist, and LGBTQ+ advocate, Alex Newell's success is not in spite of who they are, but because of it. In every note they sing and every character they portray, they're telling the world there's no limit to what authenticity can achieve. Noah Ricketts. Noah J. Ricketts, born in Louisville, Kentucky, emerged from the bright lights of Broadway to become a powerful voice for young queer performers. Best known for his role as Kristoff in the Broadway adaptation of Frozen, Noah came out publicly as gay early in his stage career, not with a grand gesture, but with quiet clarity that has shaped his artistry ever since. From the rehearsal room to center stage, Noah has never masked who he is. While many actors in theater hide aspects of themselves for fear of typecasting, Noah did the opposite. He brought his full self into every performance. That transparency resonated particularly with young Black LGBTQ+ fans, who saw in him a rare reflection of hope and joy. Though Noah remains discreet about his romantic life, his openness regarding identity has allowed him to speak boldly on issues of visibility and inclusion. He's talked candidly about being one of few openly gay Black men in the Broadway space, highlighting the double burden of racial and sexual identity in a historically exclusive industry. In addition to his work on Frozen, Noah has appeared in various theatrical productions and television projects, always bringing a calm confidence and emotional depth to the roles he inhabits. Offstage, he's a passionate supporter of youth arts programs and often uses his platform to uplift queer narratives in theater. As of 2025, Noah Ricketts continues to grow his career with purpose, selecting projects that align with his values and further his mission of inclusion. His voice may have first been heard in song, but it's his authenticity and courage that continue to echo far beyond the stage. Ryan Jamal. Swain. Ryan Jamal. Swain, born March 13, 1994 in Birmingham, Alabama, burst into public consciousness with his standout role as Damon Richards in the groundbreaking series Pose. His portrayal of a young gay Black dancer navigating the harsh realities of 1980s ballroom culture was more than acting. It was a mirror of resilient struggle and self-discovery that hit close to home for millions. Ryan came out as gay during his teenage years, long before the spotlight found him. That decision shaped his journey both personally and professionally. Entering the entertainment world as an openly gay Black man wasn't without challenges, but Ryan never chose the easy road. He chose the honest one. His time on Pose wasn't just career-defining, it was culture-shifting. Damon's character, a fusion of talent and vulnerability, allowed Ryan to explore themes of identity rejection and chosen family in ways rarely afforded to young Black actors. The role connected deeply with viewers who had longed for stories that reflected their own. Though Ryan keeps his dating life private, he's outspoken on social justice, queer visibility, and mental health. He has publicly shared the emotional toll of growing up queer in the South, using his story to empower others navigating similar paths. Outside of television, Ryan is also a trained dancer poet and advocate for LGBTQ+ youth. He treats his platform not as a privilege, but as a responsibility to uplift, to question, and to lead. In an era that demands representation, Ryan Jamal Swain stands tall, not just as an actor, but as a truth teller. His legacy isn't limited to the screen, it lives in the lives he touches by simply being himself. Dylan Burnside. Dylan. Burnside, born January 27, 1989 in Pensacola, Florida, has made it his mission to dismantle rigid definitions of masculinity through art. Known widely for his role as Ricky Evangelista on FX's Pose, Dylan didn't just play a gay character, he brought a lived experience to the role that made it unforgettable. He publicly came out as gay in 2019 after years of navigating internal conflict and public curiosity. Rather than reveal his identity for headlines, Dylan approached it with nuance, speaking on how society's narrow expectations often silence young black queer men before they ever find their voice. His performance in Pose was a turning point. Ricky's arc from a confident lover to a young man grappling with health and heartbreak offered rare emotional complexity. Dylan infused that role with empathy, creating a character who was both sensual and sincere, flawed yet fearless. Outside of acting, Dylan is a trained vocalist and theater performer with roots in gospel and classical music. His presence on stage is magnetic, but his influence offstage is even more profound. He uses interviews, panels, and community work to speak about sexual identity, toxic masculinity, and healing within the black community. Although he doesn't speak publicly about his dating life, Dylan's activism speaks volumes. He often champions the need for tenderness, vulnerability, and freedom among queer black men, challenging stereotypes that have long gone unexamined. In every project he touches, Dylan Burnside leaves a mark of authenticity. He's not only an actor, he's a catalyst for change. And in a landscape that's just beginning to embrace complex queer identities, he stands as proof that strength and softness can coexist beautifully. Dijon Talton. Dijon Talton, born September 17, 1989 in Los Angeles, California, first gained recognition as the charming Matt Rutherford on the hit show Glee. While his role was smaller than some of the show's leads, his impact both on and off screen has grown substantially since. What began as a moment in a high school choir room has blossomed into a career defined by authenticity and meaningful representation. After his time on Glee, Dijon quietly came out as gay, a decision that wasn't headline-grabbing but deeply personal. Rather than use his identity for public attention, he leaned into projects and creative spaces that aligned with his values. His coming out wasn't a performance, it was a reaffirmation of self. Dijon has since moved behind the camera as well, taking on roles as producer and storyteller focused on elevating marginalized voices. He co-founded the Talton Company, a media platform aimed at creating inclusive content for Black and LGBTQ+ communities. This transition from actor to changemaker illustrates his commitment to lasting impact. He hasn't spoken much about his romantic life, preferring to focus on career and community. What he does share is a clear message: representation matters, and silence is no longer an option. Dijon's advocacy is quiet, but powerful, woven into the characters he champions and the stories he supports. While many actors seek fame, Dijon Talton seeks meaning. His path is not one of spectacle, but substance. By choosing honesty and intention over flash and noise, he's become a steady light for young black creatives searching for both freedom and visibility. Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson, born October 3, 1983 in Los Angeles, California, has never played by Hollywood's rules. Known for bold, layered performances in Creed, Thor, Ragnarok, and Westworld, she brings a sharp intellect and quiet magnetism to every role she inhabits. Yet beyond her cinematic success lies a personal truth she revealed in 2018. Tessa identifies as bisexual. Her statement didn't come as a spectacle or tabloid headline. Instead, she spoke about her identity with nuance and compassion, emphasizing love's fluidity and her desire for freedom over labels. Her openness, while subtle, carried profound weight in an industry often hesitant to embrace complexity, especially from women of color. Tessa hasn't publicly defined her romantic relationships, though she has acknowledged her deep bond with singer Janelle Monáe, sparking both admiration and conversation. She chooses to share just enough to empower others while guarding her personal space with grace. What makes Tessa remarkable is her ability to normalize queerness in spaces that rarely allow it. Whether she's battling villains in the Marvel universe or dissecting morality in dystopian narratives, her presence says something powerful. LGBTQ+ women, especially Black and Afro-Latina women, deserve to take up space. Off-screen, Tessa advocates for inclusion, artistic freedom, and mental health awareness. She speaks with thoughtfulness rather than volume, and her influence has only grown because of it. In a world that often demands definition, Tessa Thompson represents what it means to live beyond the binary, not just in sexuality, but in art, activism, and selfhood. She doesn't just exist in the industry. She challenges it, expands it, and makes it undeniably more human. Laverne Cox. Laverne Cox, born May 29, 1972 in Mobile, Alabama, changed the face of television when she appeared as Sophia Bursay in Orange is the New Black. With that groundbreaking performance, she became the first openly transgender person nominated for a Primetime Emmy in acting. But her impact goes far beyond accolades. Coming out as transgender early in her acting journey, Laverne faced a world that was not ready for her truth. Cast out by agents, misunderstood by casting directors, and often misgendered, she persevered where many would have walked away. Instead of fading into obscurity, she carved out space where none existed, and then held the door open for others to follow. While Laverne has kept her romantic life largely under wraps, she has been transparent about her identity and the dangers trans women, especially Black trans women, face daily. Her advocacy is not limited to speeches or campaigns. It lives in the roles she chooses, the interviews she gives, and the fearlessness she radiates. She's not just an actor, she's a cultural shift. Through documentaries, public speaking, and activism, she continues to educate while representing. Her very presence on magazine covers and red carpets sends a message: trans women are worthy of celebration, not shame. Laverne Cox is a living legacy. Her story isn't just about personal victory, it's about systemic disruption. In a world that tried to silence her, she speaks louder than ever, standing tall in every shade of her truth. Billy Porter. Billy Porter, born September 21, 1969 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is more than an actor. He's a force. Known widely for his role as Pray Tell in Pose, Billy shattered stereotypes with every line, every outfit, and every performance. But long before mainstream recognition, he was blazing trails on Broadway, where he won a Tony Award for Kinky Boots. He came out as gay at just 16 in an environment that offered little support. Growing up in the Pentecostal church, Billy experienced shame, rejection, and emotional trauma, but he didn't let that break him. Instead, he turned it into art. His voice, both literal and metaphorical, became a vessel for liberation. Billy's advocacy for LGBTQ+ rights is unrelenting. He speaks candidly about the racism and homophobia he faced in the industry and uses his platform to demand better. His fashion statements, often headline-grabbing, are more than aesthetic. They're declarations of identity, daring the world to question outdated norms. In 2017, he married his partner Adam Smith in a quiet but joy-filled ceremony, representing the love story he once thought he'd never get. That moment wasn't just personal, it was symbolic for every queer person told love was out of reach. Whether in custom gowns on red carpets or delivering raw monologues on screen, Billy Porter embodies defiance and grace. He's redefined what masculinity can look like and who gets to claim center stage. Billy doesn't just challenge systems, he reinvents them. And through every performance, he proves that truth, when worn proudly, is the most powerful costume of all. Colman Domingo. Colman Domingo. Born November 28, 1969 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is a powerhouse of versatility. Equally acclaimed as an actor, playwright, and director, he's spent decades in the arts perfecting his voice. But it's his unwavering honesty about who he is that has made him a cultural pillar. Coleman came out as gay early in his adulthood, long before it was considered safe or even viable in Hollywood. His decision wasn't headline-driven or attached to a media rollout. It was lived quietly, openly, and with dignity. That foundation of truth would go on to shape not just his identity, but his body of work. Whether portraying the morally conflicted Victor Strand in Fear the Walking Dead, or delivering a searing performance in If Beale Street Could Talk, Coleman brings a weight and humanity to his roles that's impossible to ignore. His characters feel lived in, because he leads with empathy drawn from a life fully embraced. In 2019, he married his longtime partner, Raul Domingo, a private but deeply loving union that symbolized decades of quiet resistance and earned joy. Coleman doesn't parade his personal life, but he doesn't hide it either. He exists as proof that being a black, openly gay man in entertainment no longer means living in the shadows. In addition to acting, Coleman writes and directs stories that center marginalized voices, especially queer and black experiences. He is a mentor, a builder, and a believer in the power of storytelling as activism. Colman Domingo's legacy isn't defined by a single role. It's built from a lifetime of creative fearlessness and moral clarity. He reminds us that representation isn't just about being seen, it's about being seen for who you truly are and refusing to apologize for it. These 17 young black actors aren't just rewriting the script on screen, they're reshaping the very fabric of representation in Hollywood. Their truth, talent, and courage challenge outdated norms and open doors for the next generation. But what do you think? Has the industry truly evolved, or is this just the beginning of a long overdue shift? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe in celebrating bold voices and Black excellence, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence. We're just getting started.